When you're single, it can feel like all the good ones are gone. All the good partners when it comes to dating are gone. Like there's nobody left. All of your friends are married or are in happy long-term relationships. You're too old. Everyone worth being with is already taken. And it sucks. You guys, it totally sucks. You want to have a partner. You want to have a lover. You want somebody who gets you on every level. But it just seems like all the good ones, all the ones who'd be right for you, are already gone. They're already with somebody. So what is the point, really? I mean, dating becomes unpleasant at best, incredibly stressful, or maybe non-existent for you at worst. And how can you get excited about going out and dating when you know that the only people who are left are all losers? In this video, I am going to show you how it is this belief that is ruining your love life, not the actual number or quality of available partners to date. I'm Rachael Sloan. I help people thrive in love. I'm a relationship coach. I help them thrive in love by teaching them how to get their shit together. Because we often think that our relationship problems are because of other people, because of what's available, because of how other people show up, but it's never the case. All of our relationship troubles always come because of the ways that we are holding ourselves back with our unexamined beliefs, with our own self-doubt, and with our own out-of-control emotions. But let's talk about dating today. Let's talk about dating and this feeling that there's just nobody out there. When it comes to dating and the scarcity belief about the available partners, it's really natural to have these thoughts. And that's something you should know because I think we tend to be really hard on ourselves about how we think and how we feel. We have so many cultural stories about what it means to be single and what it means to be in a relationship. We have these stories that some people are better or more desirable than others, and that those more desirable people naturally get selected for a relationship first. So if you're not in a relationship and everyone else is, naturally that must mean there's something wrong with you, or you just kind of missed the bus and you're going to have to settle for somebody who's not as good. Or it might mean for a lot of people, I hear them thinking, well, this just means I'm going to end up alone. Right? There isn't anybody for me. If I don't find the right person, if something amazing doesn't happen, I'm going to be alone. Or if this relationship I'm in now doesn't work out, I'm going to end up alone because there's nobody else to date. But the fact that this is a normal thought process, that this is a natural way of thinking, does not mean that it is useful. When you believe that all the good ones are gone, that there is nobody good available to date, you don't feel good. You feel desperate. You feel hopeless. You feel sad and sorrowful. And let me tell you, desperate and hopeless and sad are not good ways to show up when you're dating. When you feel that way, you might not date at all, right? Because what's the point? And if you do go out and date, it becomes like this chore. It's a job. It's something you have to do, but you don't enjoy. You don't expect to find anybody worthwhile. And if you do, on the off chance that you come across somebody who'd be amazing for you, you probably discount them. You think, oh, well, there's going to be so many people after them, I don't even stand a chance. Right? So if you want to find love or even just enjoy dating and meeting people, there are two things you need to understand about your brain. I'm going to explain how these two things work, and then I'm going to show you how you get your shit together by resolving and fixing these two things in your brain. So the first thing about your brain is that it believes you when you talk to it. And most of us are not careful with the language that we use in our own minds. So when you tell your brain, all the good ones are gone, no one is left, everyone else is happily in a relationship, it believes you, literally. It's like, oh, everyone is gone. There is no one for me. Right? Your brain is very black and white. When you talk to it, it believes you. It's quite gullible in that sense. And the second thing to know is that one of your brain's favorite pastimes and greatest skills is finding evidence to support what it already believes. This is called cognitive bias. It is a natural adaptation, an adaptive trait, something that we evolved to do to help us make sense of the world. We are bombarded by so much sensory information all of the time. It's too much. We can't process all of it. We can't use all of it. So the brain needs a way to filter all of that incoming information to decide what is important and what isn't. Otherwise, we would be constantly overwhelmed and probably just paralyzed. We wouldn't do anything except process information. So the simplest way for your brain to process information, to filter out some of this massive amounts of sensory info is to prioritize information that supports what it already believes to be true. This allows your brain to build a consistent worldview where everything falls into place and makes sense. So this sounds reasonable, right? This is like a wise adaptation of your brain. But in reality, cognitive bias often doesn't serve us because it means that it's really hard to see fully both sides of a story. We literally cannot see, cannot hear things that contradict what we strongly believe if we're unaware that this is happening. If you're skeptical, if you're like, come on now, I'm pretty sure I'm looking around, I'm seeing what's going on, I'm seeing things clearly. If you're skeptical of this, I want you to take 1 minute and think about our political situation in America right now. We have two sides that are strongly split, that each believe deeply, passionately that they are right, and they cannot comprehend how a rational, intelligent person could disagree with them. This is true on both sides of our political divide. I am amazed when I see this because it's just such a beautiful example of cognitive bias. When I meet new people that I don't know and they don't know anything about me, if politics come up and we've got some rapport going and we like each other and they think that I'm, reasonable and rational and smart, they just automatically assume that I hold the same political beliefs they do. Because they like me, because I seem rational and intelligent, I must see the truth the same way they do. They only see that side. I get this from Republicans and Democrats alike. It's fascinating. They cannot comprehend how somebody who seems intelligent or rational could disagree with them. Guys, this is cognitive bias at play. Have you ever tried to change somebody's political opinion, their belief about the president, their belief about abortion? Right? Have you ever argued your case rationally and calmly and laid out all the evidence? And then what? Did you really expect the other person to just be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I never thought of it that way. I'm going to totally change my opinion. That very, very rarely happens. Usually what happens is the other person doubles down. They double down on their belief. They double down on their argument. And you're left wondering, did they even hear a word I said? Cognitive bias is such a powerful function in the human brain. We see it playing out on every level of our political system. It plays out at work, in relationships, in families, and it definitely plays out in dating and in love. So what does this mean for you when it comes to finding love and enjoying dating? It means that you have some work to do. Because if you believe that all the good ones are taken, that there's nobody out there for you to date, that everyone else is happily in a relationship, that you're going to end up alone, if you believe that, that's what your brain is out looking for evidence to support. Which means that even when you do find somebody who's a potential partner, your brain's going to find a reason it's not going to work out. You're going to find yourself disappointed in all the people you date. You're going to find yourself constantly attracted to people who are unavailable, people who are married, people who are in serious relationships, people who live in another country or hundreds of miles away. Right? That's because your brain doesn't believe that there is any option for you to have a happy, healthy relationship here and now. So I want you to do something crazy with me for a moment. I want you to imagine just for a second that you really believed deeply that there were lots of potential partners available to you whom you could be happy with. If that were true, I know it's a stretch, but just imagine you believed it. What would change for you? How would you approach dating if you truly believed that? I suspect dating would get fun. You would be confident, you would be optimistic. Every date could be a potential life partner, but there also wouldn't be pressure on that date because if this one isn't, there's lots of other people for you to meet. Right? You would look for reasons to like the people you're dating instead of reasons to discredit them or decide they're not right. You would look for reasons to be attracted to them. And if you weren't, you'd be like, whatever, there's lots of other fish in the sea. The next one will be great. You would relax. You would be yourself. You would enjoy dating and feel confident and calm. And I just want to ask you, which version of yourself is more likely to attract the amazing partner you want? The desperate, hopeless, sad, giving up version, or the calm, confident, optimistic version who really enjoys dating and meeting people? Okay, so we know which kind of person you want to be dating, right? We know which kind of person you would choose to date, right? You don't want to date the desperate, sorrowful person. You want to date the confident, calm, optimistic one. So how do you get there? Because right now, you just really believe that there is nobody left. that there are no good partners available to you. How do you beat the cognitive bias? How do you change this belief? Cognitive bias kind of creates a snowball effect. You have the belief all the good ones are taken. You find evidence to support that belief. That's cognitive bias, your brain's natural function at play. That proves the belief true. So you're like, I believe it even more. So you find even more evidence and you believe it even more. And you can see how this just snowballs. So how do you break it? How do you break that snowball? How do you change the belief? There are two things you can do starting right now. The first is to watch your mouth, watch your thoughts. This means changing your story. Stop telling your brain all the good ones are gone. No one is left to date. Everyone else is happy. These are absolutes, they're generalizations, and they're not true. But your brain doesn't make that distinction. So stop telling it these lies. You have to start thinking in a different way. And no, you're not going to go straight to believing there's so many potential partners I could be happy with. But just tell yourself the facts. Don't give it this big generalized story. Report the facts accurately. There are some eligible partners available. There could be people I would enjoy dating. I know some people who are not in relationships, right? Stop generalizing. Your brain does not get the distinction. Just report the facts to your brain. Change that story. The second thing you can do, now that you know cognitive bias exists and is playing out in your dating life, now you can change that. You can intentionally look for evidence to support the other side. You can intentionally look for evidence to disprove your current belief. So what evidence can you find that all the good ones aren't taken? What evidence can you find that there are lots of amazing people out there for you to date? What evidence can you find that happiness is available to you in a wide range of relationships? This process is finding evidence to disprove your current belief and prove a new one is going to hurt your brain. I'm not kidding. This is going to break your brain a little bit. It's not going to like it. Your brain is going to fight you on this. It's going to come up with all the evidence to support its current belief. It's going to argue with you. This isn't going to feel good, but it's important work to do. I want you to expect this to be uncomfortable, for it to feel frustrating, to feel even a little dangerous. Our brains like the familiar. They like to double down on what they already believe. That's a safe place to be. But those beliefs are not serving you. They are not helping you find love. They are not helping you create joy. They are not creating the partnership that you want going forward in your life. So you have to do this work anyway, even though it's uncomfortable. If you persist, if you don't let your brain give you no for an answer, you will start to see that there's just as much evidence out there to support the idea that there are many potential partners as there is to support the idea that all the good ones are gone. And if you really persist and you really push through and do this, you will soon start to see that there's actually a lot more evidence that there are many wonderful people for you to date. And when you start to see that, when you start to really believe that and shift your belief, you will naturally relax. You will feel more confident. You will feel more optimistic. You won't have to force your actions or your emotions. You will just become more excited about dating. You will just enjoy dating more. That will all happen naturally for you when you start to shift the way you think, when you start to shift the way you believe. You'll start to look forward to meeting new people and to dating. So what is the real secret to finding love when all the good ones are gone? It's learning to believe that all the good ones aren't gone, that in fact there are so many out there, so many options that it might even be hard for you to choose because there are so many people you could be happy with. Guys, I hope this video is helpful. I would love to hear from you in the comments. And please go ahead and subscribe and click the bell to turn on notifications. I put out new videos every Tuesday and every Saturday. All of my videos are going to be about getting your shit together in your brain and in your heart so that you can thrive in love. It means that you can find the love you want, create the relationships you want, make your marriage what you want it to become. Whatever level of relationship you're in or not right now or want to be in, it all starts in here and in here. Those are the things you can control, and learning to control those things will change your love life and honestly your life in general. Guys, I can't wait to see you again, and I'll be back shortly. Have a great day.